Yeah, guys, very good morning. I'm really sorry that I'm late. So let's start with the things. Okay, so yesterday we have seen some basic understanding of the Python. Okay, and also with understanding of voice చూడు ఒకసారి బ్లర్ వస్తున్నారు వాళ్ళే ఇచ్చారు మెసేజ్ guys who are online, can you see the screen and can you hear my voice? Yes. So let's quickly have some backup of yesterday's class, guys. So we have seen what is the Python history yesterday. What is actually the Python and why, when it was actually released, the beta version, by whom, the Guido van Rossum, and also about his history a bit. Then afterwards, like what made to transform 2.x to 3.x. Yesterday we had a detailed discussion about that. And then afterwards, like what is backward compatibility, and also what is the career you can expect from Python once you learn the Python. Okay, once you learn the Python and why we are learning the Python. That is what we have seen it. It is a general purpose programming language and it is a high-level programming language and object-oriented. What is this object-oriented? I said it something yesterday, I think so. What is this? Oops. Yeah, guys. Sorry? I said you the word. Paradigm. Okay? It is a paradigm. That is a technical terminology. Yeah, what you said is correct. That is a style of way of writing the code. It's nothing but again a set of instructions, guys. Okay, it's a set of instructions, and again it is an interpreted programming language. Here they use the mediator as an interpreter, like it will be converting the code from the high level language to the low level language, and it is a dynamically typed. What is this dynamically typed? Dynamical is what is that? Changeable. When? During execution. That is more important. So when you are executing, actually I said you, like there will be program will be in the two phases. One will be like in the executable phase, second one is called as editable phase, guys. And I also clearly said that in the editable phase, you are the one who can do anything, whatever you want. Whatever changes you will do, that is applicable. Definitely that is applicable. But whatever once the execution is being run, that is you started executing the code. So what happens is the whole focus, the power is transferred to the PVM or the interpreter. Now you can't do anything over there. You will be a mere spectator. That's it. You have to see that what is going on. In that phase, in the phase of execution, when you are able to change the data type, that is called as dynamically typed. Now this is one of the unique features of the Python for the success of 3.x, because in this, as I explained you in the let me quickly show you what I mean by executable phase and editable phase over here. Now, okay, now let me show you a small program over here. Then you will see the difference over here. I wanted to print the numbers from 1 to 100, and I want to print the square of the numbers, guys. Just let me show you. Now, for I in range of 1 to 100, okay, it will be taking them from 1 to 99. We are going to talk about this one very detailed, not to worry. and all I'll be doing is I into I. Right? Now, this is editable phase. Whatever I'm writing over here, like that is considered. This is an editable phase. Now, once I did this one, this is something executable phase, but it happened very quickly, right? So let's make it a bit slow. Now I will take it to the right side and take it to the right side. Yeah, here is my output screen now. So what I will do it is I will use a time, import time, and then I will say that each and every time it has to wait for like time dot sleep. I'm giving a time lapse, little bit time lapse, like 1 second. So each and every value should be printed after 1 second. That is what. Show you the executable phase, guys. Now this is the executable phase. Now whatever the changes I'm doing over here, this is not applicable. I have to just see this. Now I am multiplying it with again like I want the cube. Still give that square only. It will not give the cube. Because whatever the changes I'm doing, it will not be applicable. Why? This is in the executable phase. Executable phase, the whole control will be in the PBM's hand, that is an interpreter hand. Now you see, if I remove, I don't want, it is taking a lot of time, I want to remove it. This is not effective. See, it is going on slowly. Or if I remove this complete program, still it will run. Because this is now, it is nothing is there in my hand until and unless this program is being done. That is, I can't do anything. I have to wait and see. Now during this phase, when I'm changing the database, like your data type from one data type to another data type, that is called as dynamically typed. Okay, changing the data type when? During the executable phase. That is what is now. It is going on. I will stop it. Now, how it will be looking like? You know, I will give it like A is equals to 100. Okay, I'm printing it like A. I'm going to get it, guys. 100. Right? If I'm giving the type of A, I'm going to get it. Class int. Right? Class int. Now, if I wanted to take the next one, I'm just giving a separator over here. Take it a small separator, then I will give it A is equal, the same A is equals to, I'm giving it as like 21.08. What is this? What is this type? Float. If I'm doing A, it is a, and then when I'm doing type of A, then what it is? Float, class float. Now I'm going to copy this again and not going to write it again and again. Okay. Now here I'm going to give it as apple. Okay, I'm doing it. Now see that it is the same variable. It is not a different variable. It is the same variable. First it is an integer, then it is an integer type will be again the same variable. I'm changing value, and it is a float type, and the same variable, it is a string type. Okay. So when I run this one, okay, let me give a time lapse so that it is easy. Very quick, guys. Time, and I will give it as time dot sleep of 2 seconds, and I'm going to do the same. So first one will be printing as like 2 seconds, float 2 seconds. So during the executable phase, I'm changing the data type. This is not possible with the another programming languages. Like there are, this is the first thing like which was introduced by the Python. And you know, this is possible because Python fundamental data types are immutable. Remember, this is possible. Now, what exactly happening over here is, let me show you. I told you yesterday. Now, first case, it is okay. A is equals to, we are giving it as 100, right? What is this actually happening, guys? A memory location is allocated where 100 is stored. Okay, this is the first one. We are going from right to left, right? And for this, I'm giving a name called as A. Okay, a value is assigned in the memory, and you know, a name is given as A to that. What is the type of this one? Int. right? Now, obviously, this is referring to this memory location. A is also int. Now, when I'm saying A is equals to apple, guys, please don't think that I said you earlier also, it is been replacing this location. No, it is not going to happen. Okay. Now, what is going to happen? There will be another memory location will be allocated to this. This is called as apple, where apple is stored. Again, the A is referring to this memory location. What about this one? This will be removed. Okay, this will be removed, guys. And you know, as there is no reference for this one, if you check it out, there is no reference. That's no reference, is no variable is pointing to that. So when there is no variable is pointing, automatically, you know, a garbage collector, this is a background program, will come and delete this value. It will free the memory. Delete means it will free the memory. Okay. This is the nature of the garbage, and you are nowhere involved with the garbage collector activity. And don't be in an assumption that it will be doing at the end of the program. No, immediately it will do it. There is a small algorithm called as reference count. Reference count is an algorithm will be there. This will be working on the reference count algorithm. That is, how many variables are referring to this one. Now I'm going to tell you about that, how there will be multiple variables will be referring to the single value. I'm going to talk about that. Okay. Now, because of this nature, now if suppose I'm doing it same, A is equals to, take it as A is equals to, again, like 23.25. Okay, 23.25. Okay, guys. Now, what is this? Is string, right? No doubt. There's no something called as character in Python. No character, only string and int, float. These are some of the data types are there. Now, here what happens? This will be pointing out to this one, right? What is the data type? Look again. What is the data type? String. Who's that? It is string. Okay. Any value within the quotes is called as a string. Okay. Any value. It may be an integer. It may be a float. It may be anything. If it is within the quotes, it is a string. That's it. Okay. String is really very, very powerful. Not only in Python, in any programming language, string will be a very powerful data type. Guys. Remember that. Okay. Now, this is a string because I'm putting in the quotes. Got it? Now, this is also a string. Now, what about this one? This is gone. Okay. This reference is gone. Clear? Any questions, guys? Right. Clear. Now, this is the way actually, you know, things will be working out with a Python. Great. Yeah. Hassan Ali. Yeah. Not interview. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next level. Now here, this is a basic understanding you have to understand. What is the thing you have to understand is, whenever a value is being used in the Python program, it will occupy memory. And how to know that? How to know that it is occupying memory? ID. Yeah, good. ID. By every memory will be having an address. Every memory will be having. If a value is used in the program, that will occupy memory and that will have the address. Remember this. Now, these are some of the very much fundamentals, guys. I'm insisting a lot. This will help you to build up your, you know, strong, like when you go to the next level. Okay. Now let's talk about the data types. Now, data types, again, it is nothing but the type of data. Type of data is called as data type. So what is a data type, guys? It is just a type of data. Now, what are the different types I said it, which is used in the programming? One is the numerical type, second one is a character type, and third one is a Boolean type. Okay. Now, in this Python, this is important. In this Python, data types are very broadly classified into two types. What are those? Sorry? No, that is not the one. The two types are fundamental data type and sequential data type. Okay, let's see this. Fundamental data type. And next one is called as sequential data type. Okay, now what is this? These sequential data type are also called as compound data types. And I will write it. But they are also called as collection data types, or they are also called as data structures. Data structures. Okay, these are the different names which is used for the sequential data type. Okay, now we are not going to talk about the sequential data types now. We are going to do it in the future, but the names I am saying it. One is called as sequential data types. You want to come front? Yeah, or you can sit anywhere. Anywhere you can sit it. So want to come down front also, it's fine. Okay, so the fundamental data types and sequential data types, and coming down to the fundamental data types, and as yeah, that's correct answer. So fundamental data types are integers, float, text, bool, and it's called as boolean. Boolean, which is called as bool in Python. Okay, and one is called as string. Now, some people may have it, people who are already having some knowledge with the Python, they may say that the string will be under the sequential data type. Okay, now I will explain you why I'm putting the string in the fundamental data types. Now, this is having a dual property. String is the one which is having the dual properties. It can be considered as a fundamental data type, and it is also can be considered as a sequential data type. I'm going to tell you about that. That's why I put it at the last. Now, what are the sequential data type? Sequential data type are list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Right? Huh? Range is not the data type. Who said that it is data type? Where it is now? Tension of the chapter kada. Okay, range is a function. Actually, it's a function. It's not a data type. So list is a list, tuple, set, and dictionary. In this, these two are really very powerful. I simply to learn sequential data type is connected with the CRUD operations. Is this CRUD? Create, read, update, and delete. If you know these things with a sequential, you will know the sequential. It's a very simple way of doing. Okay, now this is not our point. Now, this is very, very powerful, guys. Dictionary and list are the two things which are very powerful that you have to be expertized on. Now, coming down to the fundamental data types. Fundamental data types are integers, floats, complex, Boolean, and the string. Now, what is the nature of the fundamental data type are? See, first one is fundamental data type is immutable. That means you can't change the value. But it doesn't mean that you can't delete it. You can delete it. When I'm saying it delete means I'm freeing the memory. So I'm saying not changeable means if the memory is allocated to a fundamental data type, inside that memory, you can't change the value. Now, suppose just now I told you, if I'm having over here, this is a value I'm having 100 and I'm saying A is equals to 100, guys. This is A is referring to memory location where 100 is stored. Now, when I'm saying the second case, A is equals to 200, it doesn't mean to say that this became 200. No, it is not the one. Actually, 200 is stored in another memory location over here and A is changed it reference. Now, this reference will be removed and this is pointing out to you. Now, how to prove that? See, every memory which is allocated will have an ID. ID means address. This address may be something like this. Okay. Now, when I do the ID of A, when I'm pointing out to this one, it will be giving this one. Now, after this, the second case when I do it, if I am having the address is something like this, then this address will be given. That itself shows that the data in the memory is not changed. So once a memory is being allocated to a fundamental data type, that memory is immutable. That is for permanent. But you can delete it. What do you mean by delete it? Means you can free this memory. That is what the garbage collector will do. What's the garbage collector will do? If the reference is not there, there is no variable is pointing to that, it will come and remove the data completely. That is the value it will be removing. That is, removing means it will free that one. Now let me show you this, whether it is really immutable or not. So this happens in the same day. No, it happens to the whatever data types. Apurva, whatever the data type it is, it will happen the same thing. Okay. So let me show you this. Now, in a simple way, this one only I can write out. You see, I'll print ID of A. Now, guys, can someone say me which one is getting me the address? ID or the print? Why am using print then? If I'm doing something like this, I will not get the ID. I will get the ID. I will get the ID. What is the role of the ID is to get the ID. It will get the ID. But the problem is the ID is not having any role to print on the screen. It will get the ID. That the purpose of that ID is to get the ID. It is getting and it is giving to you. Now it's how to print it onto the screen. Who will do the printing? Print function. That is the reason why I'm using the print over here. It's not mandatory that without print the ID will not work. It will work. You see, I'm storing in a variable called as X. This is giving me an ID that is stored in X. So if I print X, then I will get the ID. Okay. Now the role of the ID is to get the ID address, and that address is being stored in this, and then I'm printing it. If I use it directly for them, no need of a variable to assign, and all this extra level of work is not there. That's the reason why I'm directly using it. Now, this is okay. I'm going to use it over here also. Print ID of A again. Okay. Just forget about this one. Just forget about this one. Now this is a string type. Float. I'm putting in the string. You know this now what I'm doing. So now what will happen here? Now if A is equals to 100 and print A. Okay. Now it is printing the value. Now when it is coming down to this one, A value is changed to a string type 2108. Now it will print the 2108 and these two addresses will be different. Okay. See this. This is the first address, this is the second address. Both are different. Okay, both are different. Now, this is what says that, you know, the address inside the address, the value is not changed. It is not changeable at all. No way it is not changeable. That is what is called as immutable. Okay, it is immutable. Now let's take the second important property over here is, okay, now if I say first property is, I have to write it. Just bring it up this one. So first property is it's immutable. Second one is, you know, the variable with the same value will be pointing out to the same memory location. So variable with same value will point to same memory location. Okay. Now let me talk about this one, guys. See, if A is equals to, I'm saying it again, if I'm taking A is equals to apple, okay, or A is equals to India. Okay, I'm taking it as India over here. India is what type? It is a string type, right? String type. Now B is equals to again India. Values are same. I said you before only that in this, it is a value centric, not the data type centric. It is the based on the value. If the value is there, it will occupy the memory, and whatever the data type the value is, the same data type will be given to the variable. Now here what exactly happens is, now India will be over here. Okay, now A will be pointing out to India and B also will be pointed out to India, because both variables with the same value will be having a same memory location. This is the one of the reasons of amazing memory management behind the Python. And because of this only, now this we will go into the strings, guys. You will see that what level of memory management will be happening over there. Okay, now that is what exactly here it is. This is mean the second point is, when the variables holding the same value, it will be pointing out to the same memory location. Now if I am having C over here, C is equals to India, and D is also there, India. Sorry, D is equals to India. Now what will happen? All of them will be pointing out to the same memory location like this. C and D. Now in other programming languages, suppose each character is occupying 1 byte. Now it is 5 bytes, right? Now total how many bytes? 20 bytes. But in Python, only this many, only 5 bytes, not only 4. If you get it 100, 1,000 or 2,000 also, it will occupy only 4 bytes. It will never be occupying more than that. That is the real beauty of the memory management of Python. Okay, so if you check it out, okay, let me do this one. Okay, this is done. I will put it on over here 100. What will happen? Both values are same, so both will be pointing out to the same memory location. The variables is different, so that you should be having some difference over here. B. Okay, now let's see this. This should be giving some memory location for me over here, and the same memory location should be over here. Okay, according to us. See this. Okay, guys. Now, this property is not so effective with the numerics. No, it is not so effective. As the numerical value increases, there may be a different location, but this is really very, very effective with the strings. Especially this property was designed with the strings. Now, if you take a string over here, I will take a string over here. Just see this. I'm going to give it as apple, and here I'm going to give it as apple over here. See this, both are there, right? Now, when I do this, it will be pointing out to the same memory location. Okay, clear? If I give a sentence over here, same thing happens. Okay, the value is same, is they will be pointing out to the same memory location. This is the nature of the fundamental data type, guys. Now, whenever you are talking about the fundamental data types, keep it in the mind that first property is they are immutable. They cannot be changed. Immutable means they can be deleted, but you can't change the value inside that. No way. Okay, deleting means freeing the memory. Freeing the memory, you will be deleting it, but cannot be changed inside that. First thing. Second is the values, if the variables holding the same value, then they will be pointing out to the same memory location. Remember, these are very, very important. Now, let's talk about like, is it? कुछ complaint होते रहता है. Yeah. Okay. Let me try it out in making the blur screen clear. Is it clear? Yeah. So now let's go on to the what are the different data types we are. We are going to talk about the data types, guys, over here. First one is integer, right? I'm going to take it down. Now, we are not talking about the sequential data types. We are going to talk about the sequential data type automatically when we come to the strings part. Strings is really very powerful. And we are going to spend some time on strings, definitely. Integer is an integer. Number, right? What is that? Any positive or negative number with 0 is called as integer. Any positive or negative is called as an integer with along with 0. It's called as an integer, guys. Okay? Now, integer, there are different forms of integers are there. The forms of integers are given. Forms of integers. Binary, decimal is the first. Decimal, binary, octal, hexadecimal, right? Hexadecimal. Now, what are this decimal, guys? Someone say me decimal? Huh? You said the answer, right? आधा आधा क्यों बोल रहे हो? पूरा बोलो. What is decimal? ये पूरा numbers ही है ये. Yeah, it is a number. Base 10. Base 10 it is. Now, what is a decimal is whatever the number system you are using, guys. Okay, whatever the number system you are using around the world, all the banking system, your counting, your money counting, calculations, all this is comes under the decimal. So by default, any program, not only Python, any programming language will be accepting the numbers in the form of decimals. Remember this, by default, it will be accepting in the form of decimals only. So if you are giving a 10, that is considered as decimal. 100, decimal. 99, decimal. Okay, this is a by default it is. The numbers will be included in this is from 0 to 9. So whatever number you take, it decimal number, how big it may be, they will be having only the numbers between 0 to 9 only. Okay, it will be pointing. There won't be anything new number apart from that, I think so. Now, if you want to convert anything into decimal, this is a default form. Whenever you print it, automatically you will get it in the decimal point. So if still you want to convert means you will use the int function. Whenever you want to convert into any number into integer, then we will use the int function. The integer is nothing but the decimal. The other name for the integer is decimal. Okay. Now this is the one. Okay. So this is the default form, guys. What is this? This is a default form. Okay. Here, now let me show you over here. Let me take the other one. I'll use it as folder name as data type. Now let's see this integer again. If you are asking, anyone is having the doubt that where we are going to use this, the person like, whoever is looking to be working on the research side, there will be having a lot of scope of using this integers, forms of the integers. Okay, integers, complex numbers, and forms of integers, complex numbers, and one more is called as bitwise operator. These are the three ones which you will never use it in your regular programming or regular stuff until and unless when you want to go with the change of the algorithm. There is a change where you can do the changes in the algorithm by adding some extra value or something like that. That in that case you will be dealing with these things. Okay, so now let's see this one. If I'm saying a is equals to 2108, what is this? Integer type. This is decimal form. Now if I'm saying a, this is nothing but a decimal form over here. Can you see this? This is a decimal form directly. Okay, this is, if I'm saying something like 1010, what is this? 1010, not binary. Okay, it is an integer. It is a 1010. It is not the 1010. Okay, so it is an integer form. I said you by default, whenever you are printing, it will be printing in decimal form. Okay, now next one is like something called, now you know this, now binary. What is a binary? Will be having base is 2. Okay, numbers involved 0, 1, 0, 1. Now, if you want to convert any form to the binary form, there is a function called as bin. Bin. To convert any form to the binary form, it is called as bin. Now, next one, it is in. Okay, now let's talk about this one. What is this? Is this a binary or a decimal? Decimal. Now, I want to say that this is a binary. Then, huh? No, I want A to accept this as a binary. I don't want to convert into binary. 0B. Yeah, there will be a prefix called as 0B. In front of this, we can give it something called as 0B. Now, this says that I am asking the interpreter, don't consider this as a decimal number 1010, sorry, 1010. Please consider as a binary form of 1010. Okay, 1010 is 10, guys. Actually, if you convert into the binary, so it is 10. Now you see this. If I print it, I'm printing. Whenever I print it, what form it will be printed? In the decimal form. 10 is printed. Okay, let's take it like 111. What is this? I'm giving a easy numbers which I remember. Okay, don't ask me the big number. Again, I have to convert it. Now, this is nothing but 7. Okay. Clear? Now, how we get this one? There's a small division, you have to do it by 2. Then automatically you will get it. That is very simple one. You must have learned in your academics. Divide it by, so I will show you one and rest you can do it. Now 7 is there. 7, I'm dividing it by 2. How many times it will go? 3 times. What is the remainder? 1. Now again 2. How many times? 1 time. 1. From here to here you have to take it. This is 1, this one, and this one. That is binary form. Okay. Now here you can use the prefix, not only this, you can give it as a capital B also. Capital B also, if you give it, it will be fine. Now the question, guys. If I'm doing it, A, what I'm getting? 7. Type of A I'm doing it. I'm going to get it? Binary form. Is there any data type called as binary? Huh? The base form is integer. Under the integer, it is there. This is an what you call the MCQs. They will be giving you in that this is a question of that type. Okay, so always remember this comes under the category of integer. Don't forget that this is the form of the integer, one of the forms of integers. So it is nothing but it is an integer only. Now here, so in order to make it identify, that's why I told it. This is a default form. In order to make it understand, we have to give it a prefix called as 0B or 0 capital B. Do it anything. Okay. Here, now this is octal form. Now, octal form is base 8, guys. Base 8. And numbers involved is 0 to 7, 8. And it is a function which is used to convert into octal form. Oct. It is a small case. By default, I'm getting a big one. Oct. Now here, if I want to make a number understand as an octal form, then we are having something called, now why I'm saying it is 0 to 7, right? 0 to 7. If I come down over here and I'm giving it as 5, 6, and 4. What is this? Is this an octal form or a decimal form? Decimal form. By default, it will take it as a decimal form. But I want to make this interpreter to take it as an octal form, then I will give a prefix called as 0O or 0 capital O. Anything you can do it. So then it will be changed. You know, I'm printing directly. Whenever I print it, it will be printed in the decimal form. Then it will be changed. You can see that. Guys, clear? Wait. Now there is again how you will do it: 0 O or 0 capital O. Okay. Now this one is, this is 16. 16, and numbers involved is 0 to 9, 8 to F. 8 to F. So it can be capital or small. Why means 0 to 9 is 9, 10 is A, 11 is B, 12 is C, and it will be identified till 15. Okay, not till 16, till 15, 0 to 15. Now, if you want to convert this form into, okay, anything into this hexa form, there is a hex is a function is there, you can use it to form into hexa form. And there is something called as if you want to make a number to identify as a hexadecimal, then we have to give it a prefix of 0x or 0x or 0 capital X. Guys, here now let's convert this one once for all. Now I'm saying it, A is equals to maybe 2108. Okay. Now I want to print this number in the binary format. Then binary format, bin function. I want to convert this number into binary. I don't want to represent it as a binary. I'm saying convert it into binary. How? Bin function will be there. Inside this, put on the A. Now, when I print it, it should be giving me 0B. It's very simple. Okay. Clear? Now, is this correct? How to know that? Just print this number. 2108. Print. That's fine. Otherwise, you will be printing a decimal format, right? See, unless you are converting, you are not converting it, it will be printing in a decimal format. 2108. Right? Can I convert into hexadecimal? Yes, use the hex. Integer can be converted here. I'm converting a binary to the hexadecimal. Okay. Now let me do this. Convert it like this. Is this the correct number? Let's print it directly. Okay. So I convert, this is the original number. I converted into binary, and binary is converted into hexadecimal, and hexadecimal to decimal I printed. So the original number, the last printed number is the same. Okay, guys. So it is working perfectly. Okay. So now this is something about the integers, guys. This again, we have done something extra over here. What is called as forms. It like, you know, it will be very useful while you are facing an interview or something. Now there is something called as float. What is a float? It is nothing but an integer with a decimal value. An integer with a decimal value. Now what is the use of this float is you will get a very accurate value, very precise and accurate value. Now if I say it like 14.51, now this accuracy you are going to get. Integer means you will get it 14. So if you want to get a very accurate value in between any two numbers, then you will use the float. Again, the float can give an infinite number of values between any two numbers. If I am taking any two numbers between like 1, how many numbers are there? Numerical format, there's no numbers are there. I mean integers. When I talk it float, there's infinite number of values are there between them. Any doubt? Anyone is having doubt? Okay. So there are infinite number of values are there. Now, for example, 1.000001. Go on adding the number now. Okay, it is an infinite number of values will be there, any two. That is the beauty of the float. Float will help us to get the precise one, and it can get the lowest value in between any two values and the highest value in between any two values. Okay, clear? And if you want to convert anything into float, then we use it as float function. There is a float function will be there, used to convert anything into the float format. Clear? Okay, now let's see some simple thing over here. Now I will use it as a float. Now I'm taking a number. A is equals to like 14.15 or 51. Is this a float? Yes, it is a float. Print A and print type of A. Okay, this is what is called as a float type, guys. See, as float. Here, float is not having any of its forms like binary, octal, or anything like that. Only one is there. That's float. Now, if you want to convert anything into integer, what is the function? Int is a function. Now, can I convert this one? Can I convert it, guys? Int of A. Yes. Convert it. Great. Now, can I store it in a variable, or do I want to print it directly? Let me print it. Okay. Now, let me print it. Great. It's converted into integer, right? Any questions? It's clear. Is there any triggering point? Float is what data type? Fundamental data type. What is the nature of the fundamental data type? Immutable. It cannot be changed. But how we are changing it? Ashok. What is happening? Yeah, that's correct. What you're saying is ID address is different. What does that exactly mean? So you mean to say that this is gone? This is gone. No. Yeah, because A is still pointing out to A is not pointing to someone else, right? What exactly happens over here is, see this, what is the nature of this function is, it will not change A. No way. A is still there. Now you see, I'm printing it A. A is looks like a float only. A is not changed. That is the nature. That is, it is immutable. Now, how we are getting an integer? That is the nature of this int function. What the int function will do is, it will take an instance of the A. What do you mean by instance? A copy. In simple words, a copy of A. What is the copy of A? What is the value is there? 14.551 is there. In that, the int will remove only integer part. It will copy only integer part and it will throw away. I mean to say it will give away. Now it's up to you that if you want to store it in a variable, or you can directly print it onto the screen. Now again, it will take only a copy of A. It will not change A at all because it is immutable. So here this is immutable. It is taking a copy of A. In that it is removing the integer part and giving out. Now what I'm doing immediately, I'm printing it. No, I don't want to print it. I'll store it in another variable as B. That no problem. Saying it is giving out. I'm catching in B. And I'm printing B over here. You see? So B is an integer type. Definitely it is an integer type. 14 we got it. Now if you want to check it out, the type of B, it is an integer type. And type of A, it is a float again. It will be remaining the float at all. It will be the float only. There won't be any change at all. Got it? Clear? Now this will be applicable for all the fundamental data types. I will be asking this question again and again and again, especially in the strings. Okay, so it is not going to change the original value of the float. It will take the instance of the perfect terminology I'm using. It will take an instance of the float and it will extract the integer part and it will be doing it. Now, can I do the vice versa? Can I do the vice versa? What do you mean by vice versa? Converting the integer to the float. Can I do it? Yes, you can do it. No problem. Okay. Now this one I will just keep as it is. Okay, we know it. Now I'll try to share these files, guys. If someone is not noting down, I will make it as a classroom files and I will share it with you. Because this is very small, but in the future we'll be doing a lot of bigger file things, right? I will definitely share. Not to worry about. And but again, doing this, don't copy the code. Just go through the code and write it again. Okay, we are experts in copying, I know that, but don't do that, please. Okay, now A is not even from the Google. Please, you have the Google. It's a very good resource for you for the problems, but go through the solution. Definitely go through the solution, go through the logic and try to implement it. But no, don't copy the code. Don't make a habit of that. That's a very bad habit. Usually the junior level developers will be doing, they will copy the code and they will put it and come down. We have done the solution, but they don't know what is going on. So that is a very bad habit. Now A is equals to, I'm giving it as like 21, guys. Okay? A is equals to 21. Okay, I'm printing A. Now, yeah, we are already having it. I have to write it again. I will copy print A. Now the people who don't know how to comment it, highlight them, control forward slash, it will be commenting, control again forward slash, commenting. Okay. Now it see that it is an integer. Okay. Now what I will do it, I will use the float function. Float of A. Now what it is doing, it is taking an instance of the value A, that is 21, and it is converting into float. Now how it is converting, adding a 0, dot 0, that's it. Now I will give it as B is equals to and print B and type of B. Type of B. Now let's see this. It is nothing but. Okay, guys, clear? Now this is a way, like, you know, it is adding. You can do it. This process of converting one data type into the another data type is called as type conversion or type casting. They call it as type conversion or type casting. Usually they will be right at the end of this, all the data types. I will create a table and I will show you how which one is possible, which one is not possible. Okay, and this is not for this sake. Future, when we are playing with the data, you will be getting a lot of errors when you are trying to convert an integer to the string or string to an integer or something like that. Then you should be able to understand. That's a very important thing. Okay, now this is all about the float, guys. Now next one is we'll go with the bool. Okay, let's make a bool and then we will go to the complex. Now, what is a bool? Bool is nothing but it is a Boolean data type. It is having a true or false. Okay, it is having a true or false. Now the thing what you have to remember over here, it is a Boolean data type. Boolean data type. Okay, it will have the value true or false. Only two values will be there. Okay, true or false. Now the true, internally in the program, the compiler will understand true as 1. It will be recognized as you can give it. Logic lagaya to true or false. That's it. It will give it true or false. If you want to know that answer whether it's correct or false, that's fine. Now for 1, okay, and if you say that, you know, false is internally identified as 0. Internally identified as 0. So let's see this one. Print true. What I'm going to get it? No, true. I'm printing true, I will get it true. I said that internally it is recognized. Okay. Now let's do this one. 2 plus 2. Can I do it? What will be the answer? 2. True. Right? 2. You will get it 2. Or 2. 2. 2. Great. Now, if I have a false, what is this identified as? 0. Identified as 0. But what will be the output? False. Okay. It is identified as 0 and it is false. Okay. Now, if I do it false plus false, then 0. No doubt. Okay. Now, let's do it something like true plus false. Right. Okay. Clear, guys? Okay. How we are getting it? 2 is internally identified as 1. 0 is internally, sorry, false is identified as 0. 1 plus 0 is how much? 1. You got it. Okay. 1. You got it. Now, if I do it something like that, int of 2. Can I do it? Int of true. How much it is? Converting it into integer. But internally, it is identified as 1 only, right? You are converting into integers. So, you will be getting 1 over here. Any questions, guys? Sure? हाँ भाई, question mark दिख रहा है. हाँ? 1 only. 1 minus 0 क्या होता है? You know the question, you know the answer, still you are asking. System ला ले. System. Right? Now let's play it real. Okay. This is what I actually understood. Clear, guys? Any questions? Yes. Any questions? This is simply understood like 2 is 1 and false. Now, if you want to convert anything into Boolean, there is a function called as bool. Okay. There is a function called as bool which helps us to convert anything into Boolean. Okay. Now, if I'm saying like print, now I will say that something result Boolean of 2. What you are going to get it? True. Great. Right? 2 over here. Now let's this one. I will just comment it. Okay. Now, if I am giving it the same thing over here, true, then true. You will get it true. Okay. Now, if you use the false, the true, you will get the true. Okay. Now you will get the true over here. How you are going to get it? I'm going to explain you. If you take it 1, guys, true. No doubt it is true. Okay. If I am giving 0, false. 0 is identified internally false. Just forget about the previous case. I'm going to explain you. Now, this is 0 is internally identified as false. I said it. So we are converting into Boolean means it will be false. Okay. Now, if I am doing something like 9, then true. It is true. Why it is coming true then? See, it's a simple logic over here. So internally, 1 is the true is internally recognized by the interpreter as 1. False is recognized as 0. Clear? Now, when I'm converting, the situation is different. When I'm converting an integer, see this integer, when I'm converting an integer to a Boolean, so all non-zero integers are true. All non-zero integers, that integer should not be 0. Then remaining all integers are true. So if you take it 1, 2, any number, it is true only. All non-zero integers just are true. Okay. And what is the case we will get it false? Only 0. Only when it is 0, we will get it false. Okay? False. Yeah. Now next one is when we are dealing with a string to boolean, there's only two will be there: integer, numerical, and the string. The string is all non-empty strings are true. And only scenario where you will get it a false is empty string. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, now that is the reason why when we are using it in the quotes false, that is not an empty string. It is a string with some value. So that's the reason why we were getting it false. Now, all non-zero integers are true and zero integers are false, and all non-empty strings are true and empty string is false. Now let me show you this one. Now here I will give it as n. Now we have seen it many times. 0 we are going to get false because it is a 0, right? Only scenario where we will get it false is 0. Now if I am giving it 1 over here, this is a non-zero integer, so it is true. Okay guys, now if I am giving it like this, it is not equals to 0. Obviously it is not equals to 0. Slightly it is bigger, but it is not equals to 0. It is true only. Okay, all the cases. The only scenario you will get false is when it is equals to 0. Now this is equals to 0, right? There is no 1 it is. So this is equals to 0. Now you will get a false. See this? Okay. Now let's talk about the strings. Now this is very, very important. Let's try to understand this, whatever I'm showing it. Now here, if I am saying it, hello, is it an empty string? No, hello is there inside, so it is not an empty string. If I am giving it a false over here, is this an empty string? No, false is a string value. It is not a boolean value. Boolean value means it should be out of the quotes. Okay, now it is a string value, so definitely it is true. That's the reason why we got it true previously. Now the only scenario where we will be getting it the false is empty string, right? True, because this is not empty, there's a space is there. Empty string means there should not be space. This is an empty string. Okay, there should not be a single space also into this. This is what is called as an empty string. Now you see this is a false. Okay guys, clear? Now this is very, very important. Why means whenever you are getting the data from the external source, usually we will not have the data in our local desktop. From the external source, whenever you are getting it, when you get the data from the external source, you are going to store it in a variable. Okay. If the data we are not getting it, external source means there may be n number of reasons we may cut off the connectivity and we may not get the data in that case. So then you can validate whether there is a data is coming or not. Maybe you are doing the program, the data is coming, but when your client is doing the program, the connectivity may be lost, the VPN connectivity or the network connectivity or the login credentials or the file may be changed, anything may be. So in that case, we will not get the data. When you are not getting the data, it shows an error when you're doing an operations on the non-empty data. So you can validate it. If that is true, then you can do it. Now, what I say, something like this, you see. Simple thing I will do it. I will say that A is equals to, I will say now chip, some value is there. If A, I will say that Boolean of A. What is this Boolean of A will be? True. If this Boolean of A is equals to true, then sorry, I will say it as print. We got value. Else, I want to say that we didn't get any value. Value missing. See this, guys. This is a common thing we are going to do it. We got the value. Now, if I am removing this, What is this? Value is coming. See, the one thing you have to understand is if you are doing a if condition, it is not bothered whether there is a condition or not. It is more bothered the output of the condition. What is the output of the condition? If it is true, this will be executed. The output of the condition is false, this will be. Now, if I am removing this, what is the output of this one? True. It is true. So definitely it will be executed. Okay. If I'm not having anything inside this, false. Obviously, you will get it false. So where it will execute, this will execute. Okay. Usually we will do it something like this, guys. Okay. So you should be very careful. That's why we were spending some time on this, because this is the validation we will be doing very frequently. Okay. Now this is all about the Boolean. Now let's go to the next one called as complex. Again, the complex is, we will never use the complex in our, as I said you previously also, we will never going to use the complex in our regular programming, regular projects. So we are going to use the complex in our research work a lot. Complex. Again, this complex value consists of two parts. One is the real and imaginary. Complex value. So usually in academics, we must have read it as I as a complex value, but in Python, we are going to consider that as J. So it will be something like this. The complex value will be J. What is the value of the complex is usually square root of -1. It will be something like this. Square root of -1 over here. So if I am getting a complex number, so how it look like means something like this. So I'm saying A is equals to 4 plus 2j. 4 plus 2j. This is a complex number. Usually it will be a complex number. And if you want to convert anything into the complex form, there is a function called as complex. There is a function called as complex. Will be converting it to the complex form. This is a one. So usually, like, you know, this is a complex one. This is an integer is called as an, sorry, 4 is called as an real part, 2 is called as imaginary part. Okay, clear? Now let's see this one, how we can see this real and imaginary part. I'm having a variable called as x is equals to like 9 plus 3j. 9 plus 3j. So this is what is called as a complex number. If you see this, print x and print type of x. Right? Now let's see this. Here, guys. Now, if you want to see only the real value, then we are having something like x dot real. When you do it real, you will get the real value. Now you can print it over here. Real value. Always you will be getting in the float format, not to worry about. So again, if you want to get the imaginary value, there is something called IMAG. Then you can see it imagine. Okay, clear? Now this is a combination of real and imaginary values, guys. Okay, now let's see this, like how to convert. Okay, how to convert other values into the complex value. So if I have an integer, just say that I have an integer a is equals to 10. Okay? Usually the complex function will be taking two values. It will take two values. It is having the capacity to take the two values. The first value, that is the first value, whatever you will given is considered as a real value. The second value, whatever is given, is considered as an imaginary value. Okay, now here I'm giving it as like 6 comma 2, sorry 3. Okay, what will be the complex number coming up? 6 plus 3. Now I will put it as B. Now you will get it as 6 plus 3. Here now, and one more flexibility is there with the complex, that it will take two values. If you give the two values, one will be considered as a real, second one is imaginary. Now, in this two, giving two is not mandatory. It is not compulsory to give two. If you give one also, it will work. But one, you have to give it. Minimum one, you have to give it. The one value, whatever you will give it, that will be considered as a real value. Okay, that will be considered as a real value. Now let's take it as B is equal, or like, I'm taking it as complex. Okay? I'm giving it as 9. I'm giving only one value, and this value will be considered as real value. Then what will the output will be coming up? 9 minus 0, 9 plus 0j. Okay, this is internally, it will be considering it like this. Okay? So it will be coming up as 9. Yes. Okay. Now, if I'm giving it a float, can I give the float? Yes, you can give it float. I'm giving it as 4.5. I'm giving only one value. Then what will be the output will be coming up for me? Plus 0j. 4.5 plus 0j. Here. Okay. Now, if I'm giving it something like this, complex, sorry, I will use the complex, and I'm giving it as apple. What are you going to get it? Apple plus 0j. Error. You can't convert a string to an complex. Remember this. A string cannot be converted into a complex. Now, let's take it this one then. You know it. A string cannot be converted into a complex. Now, if I am giving it 9 over here, 9 is an integer in the string form. The string is having a digit inside that. It is total output is like total base data type is string type. What is the value inside that? Integer. Now I'm converting it. Okay. I will get it 9 plus 0j. Clear, guys? Now, if I am having 9.5 over here, what I'm going to get it? Clear? Now, if I am giving it something like this, 4, 9.5, 4, it's error. It's error. Why it is giving an error? Read the error over here. The complex cannot take the second argument if the first argument is a. So that means to say that if the first argument is a string, second argument cannot be taken. So if the second argument is a string, first argument cannot be. It can be, right? Let's write on that one. 4 I will keep it, or 6 I will keep it. Let's do this. It's also, we will get an error. Complex second argument cannot be a string. So if you are using, in simple terminology, if you are using a string with digit inside, it should be only one. Then it is workable. If it is not having, if you are having a combination of those, you will not give it. Okay, clear? Now, what if I'm giving it? I should have done it in a separate way. Sorry for that. Here I will give it as 4. Okay. This one is a 1, and these two are errors. Okay. I'm commenting it, and you can give it. This one is okay. Okay, and one more I'm giving it. This one is also okay. Okay, no problem about this. Just I'm giving it because when I share this file, you should be having something, right? So that's okay. Now let's do the other one, guys. Now, print or complex. If I am giving it something like this, 2 plus 3, 4j, comma, and 5 plus like I will give it here as 8 here, 8, and here I will give it as 3j. What will be the output will be coming down? It will be like 13 plus 7j, right? It will be something like 5 plus 9j. Maybe, I'm not sure. Let's try it out. This is again an MCQ. 5 plus 9j we got it. Not, yeah, 5 plus 9j. Sorry. Any questions? Yeah, all questions. So how it is coming down is, take the outer values and inner values. 8 and 3 are outer values, and 4 and 5 are inner values. Outer values you have to subtract it to get the real value. Outer values you have to subtract it to get the real value. The inner values you have to add it to get the imaginary value. Do it now, you will be getting it. So 8 minus 3 is how much? 5. Okay, now in turn, that is a real value. That is 5 is a real value. What is the 4 plus 5 is 9j? That is an imaginary value. Okay, clear? So that is the way it will be going on, guys. This is an MCQ. Please keep it up in a separate places wherever you want to do it, so that you can review it whenever you're going for an exam. Now, let's move on to a very important data type called as strings. Okay. Now, whatever we are going to learn in the strings, guys, that will be there for us. Like, there is some very important ones will be there, which will be using it throughout our data science. Especially, there is a concept called as indexing and slicing. That will be there in in strings, float, list, tuple, and NumPy. You will be having in the TensorFlow. You are having in the pandas also. Now, TensorFlow means extreme, like very last. Till there, it will be there. Now, we are going to spend some time over here. Now, every time I'm not going to do it. Okay, clear? Now, let's see that what is a string, guys. Let's talk about what is a string. String is nothing but any value within the quotes is called as a string. Simple. Any value within the quotes is called as a string over here. Giri, can you please coordinate with management to get my number? They're going to provide it. Okay. Now, what is a string, guys? String is, again, it's any value, whichever the value you are taking it. If it is there within the quotes, that is called as a string. Now, that may be any value. Any value within the quotes is called as a string. It can be a single quotes or a double quotes. If any value within the quotes is called string. Okay. Now, this can be a string. Okay. I'm saying it as Arjun. This is a string, and this is also a string. This is also a string. Both are considered as a string. Any value, I mean, it says literally any value. So if you are having something like here, like 8 is a string, even though it is an integer, who cares? But string is the one which is there. Okay. Now again, there is something like if you are having 10 plus 2j, what is this? 10 plus 2j. String it is, because within the quotes it is, even though it is a complex, but it is within the quotes, so it is a string, no doubt it is a string. So any value within the quotes is called as a string, and as I told you, the string is given as a special privilege over in any programming language. You go and check it out, any program, there will be a lot and lot of built-in functions will be there. Why? Guys, why? Have you any time filled up any form? No? Yes. In that, how many fields will be numerical and how many fields with the character type? Only your phone number will be, or your age will be numerical. Remaining all, it will be character type. Now it is Aadhaar card. Okay? Only 3 or 4. That's it. The 80%, 75 to 80% of the fields will be all character type only. Your name, your father name, your address, all this, your PAN card, all this comes under the character type. Okay. Now, this is now, whenever you are now, if you check it out a simple form, the 75% of the data is string type. Okay, 75% of the data is string type. Now, the remaining 20% is like, the numerical type. So big in the world also, in the all over the world, whatever the data is there, the same ratio is. Like 70 to 80% of the data is in the string format. Only that 20% data will be in the numerical format. That is the reason why whenever you want to process this data, there will be a lot of data you will be finding in the string format. So that is the reason why there will be a special privilege will be given to the string type. Okay. Okay. Now string is considered to be in both cases. What is that? It is a fundamental data type and it is also a sequential data. And it is also a sequential data type. What is a fundamental data type? We know it. It is, first property is immutable. Second one is value with the same, as the variables with the same value will be pointing out to the same memory location. This is the one. Now, what is a sequential data type? Sequential data type nature is it will hold the multiple values. Okay, it can hold, I should have mentioned it. It can hold the multiple values. All these values will be stored in a series of internal memory location. Okay, clear? So first of all, it can hold the multiple values. Multiple values, the basic nature of it can hold the multiple values. Sequential data type, it can hold multiple values. Different heterogeneous, homogeneous, that we are going to look at later. Now it can hold the multiple. Second one, all this, if the multiple values are there, all these multiple values are stored in a series of internal memory location. So multiple values in the sequential data type, all these multiple values stored in series of memory, internal memory location. Internal memory location, which is identified by indexing. Guys, which is identified by indexing. Yeah. Now, what this exactly mean is, see, if you are saying a string, if I am saying a string, a is equals to, if a is a variable or x is a variable, x is equals to, I'm giving it as, in Python I'm not talking about other languages. In Python, if I'm giving it something like an array, what is this? Is this a string? Yes, it is a string. If I'm giving y is equals to only r, is this a string? Yes, it is a string. because even though it is a single value or a multiple values, a single value or a word or multiple combination of different characters or a sentence, all are considered as a one single data type called as string only. And that is what it is. This is holding, it can hold the single value or it can hold the multiple values. Okay, first one. Second one is when these multiple values are stored in a series of memory location. How these multiple values will be stored is, suppose I am having India over here. I-N-D-I-A. India is there, right? Now this India will be stored in a series of internal memory location. I will write it as here. A is equals to India. Okay, a simple single quotes. I will write it as India. Now this, let me remove this. Now in this, like A is equals to India. Now this India will be stored in a series of memory location. What I mean by series of memory location is, if you are going to check it out over here like this. Okay? And this will be like it. Like this. Okay, series of internal memory location. Now these internal memory location are identified by a concept called as indexing, or you call it as index. Okay, indexing. Now what is this indexing is, there is a numbering given to this internal memory location, and this numbering starts from left side. This is left side and this is right side. This numbering starts from the left side. The flow will be from left to right. Remember this, the flow will be from left to right, and it will always starts with 0. The numbering always starts with 0. The indexing always starts with 0. This is 0. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. And this is 4. Okay. This is 4. Now, what is the name of the string I gave it? Variable name. A is equals to this one. Now, which memory location is pointing to A? Which memory location is pointing to A? A is pointing to I, or A is pointing to N, or A is pointing to D. Which one it is? It's a complete string it is pointing out to. A is pointing out to the complete string. But if I want to point out to the internal memory location, I will say A square brackets, guys. This square bracket is called as off. In the technical terminology, you call it as off. A off. A off, if I am saying 2. Now A is pointing to this one. Off 2 means it is pointing out to this one. Clear? Now this is, you are going to get it D over here. Clear? Now this is the way you're going to do. Now if I want to get the I, not the second I want to get it. So how I'll do it? A of 3. A of 3 over here. This is what I mean to say. A of 3. I will get it as I. Clear? Now if I am saying A, now A will be pointing out to this complete one. So you are going to get it complete India. Okay, complete India. So this is called as an indexing, guys. Okay, indexing. So in Python, this is again with exclusively with Python. Now just see this. I'm saying that culture. Okay, good. Now I want to get it U over here. In case of U, what I have to do? I have to count. There's no other option for me. Start from here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. You have to count it, right? Instead of that, we have an option from with the Python that you can count it from here. That is what is called as negative indexing. Negative indexing. So whatever we have seen, it is a positive indexing, starts from the left to right, and the starting index value will be 0. Remember this. Positive indexing, there are two types of indexing. One is a positive indexing, second one is a negative indexing. Positive indexing starts from the right to left. Now this is the left to right, okay, from here. And always the positive indexing starts with 0. Now when it comes to the negative indexing, it will starts from right to left, and the direction of the flow will be from right to left, and the starting index will be -1, and this will be -2, -3, -4, -5. Now if I want to print D, guys, I have two options. What are those? A of 2 or A of -3. A of 2 or A of -3. This is the way I can do it. Now if I want to get it something last over here, this one R, instead of counting from here, it's just count it from here. It is -2. R -2, give it -2, you will get it the output. Clear? Okay, guys. So again, like this is what is a sequential data type actually. Now the properties of the fundamental data type is this, both properties are applicable for the strings. Remember that both properties are applicable. One is, it can be immutable, you can't change it. Second one is same value will be, variables with the same value will be pointing out to the same memory location, fundamental properties. Now sequential property is it can hold the multiple values, it can hold. Okay, it can hold the multiple values, and these multiple values are stored in a series of internal memory location. Okay, clear? So let's talk about this one. Let's put on a small note if come down. Let's talk about the positive. There's two types of indexing. First one is called as positive indexing. And this is also called as zeroth indexing. Zeroth indexing means it starts from the 0. Okay. I've done a mistake. Indexing, and the flow will be from left to right. And starting index will be what is the ending index will be? Ending index, infinity. Length -1. That's correct. What is said is. So actually, if you take a string over here, A is equals to, or X is equals to, I'm going to write it as, welcome. How many characters are there? What is the last index? What is the last index? 6. 6. No need of counting. When you say the 7 minus 1 is 6. Right? So how to find out? First time what you are doing? First time you're counting from 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I give you some like 100 rupees notes or something like that, I will say to count, you will never count from 0, right? You will never count it. You will say 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? In the same way, when you are start counting each and every character, and you will get the total number of characters, that is called as length. And this length, we can get it from a function called as len. There is a function called as len, which will tell us like how many elements or how many characters are present inside a string. I'm talking about the strings as of now. This is a generic function. Remember that this is a generic function. So it tells us how many characters are present inside a string. Okay, inside a string. Now, if length is equals to 7, as length is equals to 7, what is the index? What is the index of the last character? 6. How it is? Length minus 1. Simple. So if I am having a length over here, how I will find out the length? I'm having x over here. I want to find out the length of the string. Length of x. Length of x. Now this will give me what? 7, guys. 7. This will give me 7. I want to find out the last index. Length minus 1. So do that. That is 7 minus 1. Or we can, where you are getting 7? From length function. So we can do it something like this. Length of x minus 1. How much you are going to get it? 6. Simple. Now what is the nature of the length function? Remember this. Nature of the length function is to get the number of characters in the string. Right? It is giving 7. Then immediately what you are doing? Minus 1. How much you are going to get it? 6. Right? Now this is what is the ending index. Length of string. X is string name over here. I will give it as a string name. Minus 1. This is what he was saying. Length minus 1. Okay, guys? Now, okay. And okay, let's finish it with the negative indexing. So next one is called as negative indexing. Now try to, you may odd asking flow, but try to concentrate on the flow a lot. Now negative indexing. Now the flow will be right, left. Starting index will be minus 1. Ending index will be minus length, not length minus 1, because you are counting from the 1. Right? Now you take it this one. You will get it a better understanding. I'm going to take it this one. I'll put down over here. Let's give us some space so that I have to draw the yeah. Okay, now let's make it this point over here. Now then I will give the brackets over here, like this is an internal. Okay. Now this is a positive indexing from left to right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And but the length is how much? 7. So what we are doing? Length of, sorry, I will use it something like this. I'm saying x is the one which is pointing out to this one. You see, x is the one which is pointing out. So length of x minus 1 is the last one we are going to get. Okay. But when you go for the negative indexing, you will flow will be from right to left, right to left. Okay, and starting index will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. If I am doing length of x, what will be the output? Length of x, 7. If I am saying minus length of x, how much? Minus 7. That is what the output over here, right? Clear? That is how you will be getting it, guys. So ending index will be minus length of string. String name I'm giving here. Here, guys. Now this is what is called as video nikal raha hai. Okay. So here, this is the way you will be dealing with the indexing, guys. Okay. Now, this is a very basic stuff we are into. I think that you should not have any problem with this. So directly go through this indexing and just play with it. Okay. Now, after this, we will be jumping into the slicing. Slicing is really important. So we are going to do the slicing. The nature of the indexing is at any given point of time, you will be getting only one value. Of course, there is an advanced indexing is there where you can get the multiple values. That is second issue. As of now, the nature of the indexing is we can get only one value, guys. Okay. Now, if you want to get more than one value, then it is not possible for us using the indexing. Then in that case, we are going to go with the slicing. Okay. So we are going to now, there is a function is there for slicing. I'm not going to use the slicing. We are going to use the core mechanism. Like how exactly the function works, how we did it. We are going to do it in this way. There's a function is also there. If you give it, you will get the output, but that is strongly not recommended. That is not there with all the other NumPy, pandas. This function will not there. So I want to explain you the core mechanism, how it goes. And also I will connect it to the multi-dimensional indexing also right now, even though we don't know NumPy. It is usually done in NumPy pandas, but as we are in the flow, we will continue with the multi-dimension indexing so that it is very, very easy for you once you get into the NumPy, guys. Okay? Clear? Now, again, there are a lot of functions are there which are very, very important with the strings. So we are going to spend some function. We are going to finish the indexing tomorrow and a slicing tomorrow, and then we will go with the some of the functions, important functions like replace is one of the important functions, slicing, partition, and there are like center, left align, right align. These are the some of the functions are there which are important for us, especially when you're dealing with the CSV files. Okay. Any questions, guys? Yeah, questions are there here. Rashekar, I will give you my mobile number. No, not to worry about. Personally, it is right. Please end the session. Naresh IT. Okay, guys. Okay. Sure. Thanks. We will not have the backup session today. We will have it tomorrow. The people who are attending the backup session, we will have it tomorrow.